Huddle Up Podcast is sponsored by Arena Eats. Log on to the website arenaeats.app, that's arenaeats.app, for the ultimate fan experience. At your favorite sports venue, Arena Eats mobile app, pre-order, express pickup, and in-seat delivery. How do you place your order? But before we close the book on this Super Bowl and this football season, one of the things talked about on social media and sports media and stuff yesterday, and immediately following the game, like all of a sudden they've changed from, is Tom Brady the greatest of all time? Because I think we know the answer to that question. It is a resounding yes. You may not like him, but Tom Brady is the winningest franchise in the NFL. So
yeah, and he you know, you didn't really, I don't know if I really put it together until it was happening, but he actually, by leaving New England to do number 7, pulled that off. Because if he'd have done it in New England, then he would have 7. So would
New England. But now he has 7. They have 6.
But now he has 7 by himself, going on 8. You know, and you know, I don't know. You look at all the weapons and the pieces that came in, and you know, you ask yourself, is this the greatest accomplishment of his career? Probably, minus the first year. We talked about that before. More impressively, I wish, you know, I was trying to throw some, you know, take some guesses at touchdowns and who's going to score what and when, and did not have Gronk scoring 2. Probably should have.
Yeah, that one. I mean, when he hit him with the first one, it was like, okay.
Touchdowns at Gronk, Antonio Brown, the payout on that would have been pretty decent.
I mean, it's all former Patriots. I mean, Antonio Brown was a Patriot for like 3.5 quarters, so technically.
It's true. Yeah, it's true. It happened.
But like the discussion I saw change, it has kind of morphed from, is Tom Brady the greatest of all time, to, is Tom the greatest? And I've seen it worded different ways, like best athlete ever, best professional athlete ever, best.
Like now you're trying to stack him outside
like
of football.
Best team sport athlete ever. So I did pose the question, and you know, is he the greatest professional athlete of all time? Like, I guess it depends how exactly you define or look at athlete.
Yeah,
are you saying athlete by definition, which is like, you know, like basically,
like, is he going against Michael Phelps?
Right.
Like, would be my question.
Like,
are we going?
Are we talking
athletes?
Like, because like the definition of athlete, and I want to pull it up here because like the way it's worded, he probably is. But like, to me, athlete is more athleticism. And Tom Brady is not the most athletic, because it says the definition of athlete is a person who is proficient in sports and other forms of physical exercise. So, like, I mean, in terms of team sports,
well, here's the thing: like, saying Tom's not athletic.
I'm not saying that.
It's a bit understatement. Tom is way more athletic than I think people give him credit for. I mean, because for one thing, there's 2 forms of athleticism. There's the Lamar Jackson, Michael Vick school of athleticism, which is just raw physical ability, speed, quickness, you know, jumping ability. You get into guys like Randy Moss with the speed and the jumping ability. Those kind of things, Tom Brady is not at the top of even his position in those things. But there's also a level of athleticism, which is having your entire body in shape to the level where, I mean, he's played how many years? He's 43.
Well, yeah, I mean, he's
been in the league 2 decades.
Yeah, 20 years.
So, and he had the one fluke knee injury in a week 1 with a shoulder or a helmet to the front of the leg, which would probably snap anyone's leg. And beyond that, he has nowhere in his career where he's missed large sections of games. I don't even know if he's missed games beyond that. I know he's missed parts of games for, you know, a hand or an elbow, and Lord knows he was always questionable with a shoulder. But like, that's just the Patriots being the Patriots. And he's gone 2 decades at 43 years old, has fewer injuries than probably players half his age, and is really never in question going to really put himself in scenarios where that happens. Some of it's being smart. Some of it's just being able to take licks. Tom Brady, the second highest sacked quarterback in the history of the NFL, by the way, mostly because of longevity, behind Brett Favre, of all people, most sacked quarterback.
Well, I mean, Favre played more than any quarterback ever.
Yeah. Well, and Brady's taking his licks, man. I mean, it's not like he's spent every season on his feet. And even if you're getting penalties called on other teams, if you think they're against teams that don't have Tom Brady on them, he's still taking those hits.
Right.
And he just gets back up and he goes back to the huddle.
Well, that's the thing. He's the most sacked, but I would also say he also takes hits that aren't sacks. Like, you know what I mean? Lot. So if he's the second most sacked ever, think of the number of times he's been knocked down.
Yeah.
Outside of that. Huddle Up Podcast is sponsored by Arena Eats. Log on to the website arenaeats.app, that's arenaeats.app, for the ultimate fan experience. At your favorite sports venue, Arena Eats mobile app, pre-order, express pickup, and in-seat delivery. How do you place your order? A couple of responses, I think a couple people we're kind of saying what we're saying is it's hard to use the same and different criteria for different sports. But Tom Brady is arguably the greatest football player of all time and the greatest quarterback of all time. That's from Jerome. Nate says he's the greatest quarterback, who's also the greatest making his teammates better. And then Tyler says professional athlete, no. Greatest quarterback, maybe. Well, he's the greatest quarterback, Tyler. I think Tyler's the guy that was calling foul on Brady after week 1 when he threw like the 3 interceptions. So I think Tyler's just mad that Tom Brady won the Super Bowl and is just trying to find ways to. But he did go on to say it's hard to compare an NFL quarterback to an NHL left wing to a point guard in the NBA, which I get it. And
it's impossible.
Yeah.
But I mean, obviously football player is the argument. Quarterback, there really isn't one. And it's like, when you stack them up, obviously more rings than say a Jerry Rice or, whoever you want to say the best running back or the best. Once you have your opinion of the best, then you can start to pick between them. And even that's hard to do because there's a lot of positions that are just as effective. When you look at like a position like middle linebacker or in a certain era of football, a very good safety like a Ronnie Lott or someone like that, and there's a lot of players that didn't win, so depending what your definition is, a Dan Marino that didn't win or, Reggie White that got one.
Yeah.
Is there really once you've been to the play, because I think the real thing is you got to look at are you a team that made it to the playoffs a bunch of times? Because I've talked to you before about once that herd thins and you get to your strongest handful of teams,
sure,
any of those teams can win on any given Sunday. So the real test to me is are you making championship games? Are you winning at least a playoff game every year? Are you there? Are you knocking on the door? Because only one team gets through the door. And then, Jim Kelly loses 4 Super Bowls. Is that worse than somebody sneaking through and getting one? I don't really know why people, I don't like to give the merit to just the rings, but Tom Brady has enough of other accolades beyond that, but when you stack him up against a Wayne Gretzky, which by the way is the other sport where it's a no brainer. Hockey to me is the other sport where it's not even close.
Yeah. It's Wayne.
Could you make the argument? Well, Mario Lemieux might have.
Right, you can't, and it's exactly, and he had injuries and stuff like that.
He's chasing the records. They're playing at the same time. Does Gretzky skate hard? I mean, he's a long way behind Gretzky in some of those categories. So, Gretzky just utter dominance.
Mario's probably the closest. Mario's probably the closest thing to it.
And there's different eras. Gordie Howe played for 4 decades, which is
the guy played into his 50s.
that can't happen anymore unless you're Yammer Yager.
I was going to say, Yager's making it close. What is he, 48, 49, something like that?
Something like that, playing in Europe, wherever he's at.
If there's anybody in today's NHL that would I make a push for it, I feel like Ovechkin's that guy.
Well, he's going to need to catch somebody at this point.
Yeah, especially with these shortened seasons, and God only knows what's going to happen with the NHL.
But yeah, it's an impossible one to do. And if you're starting to throw individual accolades, he's not even the most decorated because Michael Phelps won every race he's ever been in, but two.
It's just funny how they can't talk about, because every year Brady, since Brady hit like his fourth, they started talking about, is he the greatest ever? Is he the greatest ever? And now he's hit 7. You can't. There's no argument there. So it's
that's what I was about to say.
They're just moving the post at this point.
Greatest here, most athletic there, whatever you want to give him. I don't think he cares, because when you ask the question, who's won more Super Bowls than anyone in history, it's Tom.
Yeah, and it's never going to happen again.
That's it.
It's never going to happen again.
No.
Like, nobody's playing this long.
I mean, obviously, a couple of those teams will probably hit 7. That's no doubt. I mean, the league's going to keep going, and eventually
Steelers will get it. New England will get it. Dallas, maybe.
We'll see.
San Francisco, those the other teams with 5.
Those teams are close, and yeah, who knows? Maybe Tampa will get there.
Yeah, I mean,
they only need 5.
That's right.
Tom plays to 50. We got a shot,
and he might. I mean, the guy's aging in reverse.
Try to win as many with Tampa as he did with New England in less time.
Huddle Up Podcast is sponsored by Arena Eats. Log on to the website arenaeats.app, that's arenaeats.app, for the ultimate fan experience. At your favorite sports venue, Arena Eats mobile app, pre-order, express pickup, and in-seat delivery. How do you place your order?